Most of the best coaches in the world, and I think most athletes, realize that recovery is a critical component to gains. Hey, everybody, I thought I would chat with you guys and gals a little bit about this today. And the thing is, because this is a mantra that we've seen so many great coaches point out over the years, over and over and over, stimulate, don't annihilate. We don't grow in the gym, we grow when we're resting. Training, all these mantras, right? Training that you don't recover from doesn't stimulate a training response, right? We don't get a benefit from it. So we push all of these ideas, and ultimately what this can lead to is people trying anything and everything in the pursuit of more recovery. And a lot of that happens in the sports world, and then it ultimately trickles down to the general population and normal fitness world. But I think something that people have to remember with a lot of this, you have to keep in mind, because when these topics get raised, with professional athletes, people will say things who are obviously very, very ignorant regarding how professional athletes live. It's a very ignorant statement when people say, well, what do you mean this doesn't work? I mean, pro athletes wouldn't waste their time with it if it doesn't work. And that's funny because that's the opposite of truth. What people don't realize is that pro athletes value recovery so much, and I'm talking people with $10 million contracts, right? Top NFL players who have enormous amounts of money on the line, actually will do everything. They will try 20 approaches to improve recovery, hoping that 3 of them work. Because if they try a bunch of different things, as long as the end result is they get recovery, so if they try a lot of experimental things, unproven things, even if it costs them money, like let's say a professional athlete who with a $10 million or a $5 million contract squanders $10,000, $15,000 a year trying to enhance their recovery through every form of therapy, every form of massage, meditation, acupuncture, supplement, cold therapy, anything, everything they can do, massages, chiropractic, right? They'll do all of these things because if they just drop, $10, $15, $20,000 on it, and 1 or 2 of them work, a couple of them work, and it improves their performance, and they make an extra $1 million that year, or on their next contract re-up because they've recovered better, performed better, they're able to stay in the game longer. Like let's say they get an extra year, they're able to stay in the game because of the recovery, staving off injuries, all these things. How many millions of dollars is that worth to them? That is no loss to them. So what? They threw away 20 grand and maybe only $1,000 of it actually helped. But the net result is because they tried everything, they'll throw everything at a problem and hope something sticks. Doesn't matter if it's experimental or unproven, because they're going to do everything. Keep in mind, this is their profession, and they're making millions of dollars. They will absolutely do 10 things that turn out to be completely useless, and they'll spend a fortune. The whole team will get in on it, right? The whole team will together spend $500,000 on a completely ineffective thing. They absolutely will do it. Why? Because there's a small chance that if they try enough of them, something will stack up and work. So they go out of their way. It's why sleeping pills, sleeping aids, everything is a big deal. I've known people who say even in the NFL, it's not even the anabolics a lot of them use. It's a growth hormone because of the sleep, the extra sleep benefit, prescription sleeping pills, sleeping aids. Those have always been really big in that sport. Why? Because they value recovery over everything. So that is not an explanation. Well, these pro athletes wouldn't waste thousands of dollars on it if it didn't work. Of course they would. Because to them, that's nothing. If there's a 10% chance it'll work, that's worth thousands of dollars to them. To the average person, if you only make, 100 grand a year and this is a hobby for you, see where I'm going? I want a couple $1,000s away at something that turns out not to work, or that only has a 5 or 10% chance to work, may not be a good use of your money. Plus in the time factor, all these things take time up. They take time and resources, but when your whole career revolves around it, they're going to do everything. Their whole lifestyle is built around recovery. It's do everything to recover. Get one more year, one more season in, man, that could be worth $5 more million. That's a lot of money. Of course they will. Stop using that as an excuse. The reality is the research is now showing none of these things work. Foam rolling was massive when I was younger. When I was first even doing YouTube videos and Facebook videos and all that over 10 years ago. Gosh, I've been at this over 12 years now. Foam rolling was really a massive deal, so along with all this active recovery stuff. Well, it's turned out it doesn't really help. Foam rolling doesn't really help recovery. It doesn't even help injury prevention. It doesn't even improve mobility. It's all placebo. It's all placebo. It doesn't do these things. But it was touted as the ultimate. And I still see a lot of trainers and lifters from my further generation going back who were really serious about training 15 years ago who still follow these things religiously. Well, it turns out it doesn't actually work. All right, one of the newer ones now is all the cold baths, cryotherapy, ice baths, cold plunges. But the research has shown it doesn't help. We know this. We also know that it can impede muscle growth. Well, that means it impedes tissue adaptations to training. Okay, that's not a good thing. You don't want to impede that, so people don't understand. If it impedes hypertrophy from training, it means it's impeding various tissue responses. Okay, it is blunting the responses at the tissue level because of lack of blood flow, all these other things. Right? That's not beneficial. Right? It's the opposite of beneficial. But people will still do it, and that's the point. Because they'll see pro athletes do it, they'll jump in. They'll jump in and think, well, it must work. But nothing could be further from the truth. And so people get caught up into all these fads, and they become big business. And once they become big business and all these people endorse them, then people can sell it. And the truth is, for what we know, most of this stuff doesn't work. Yes, there are drugs and PEDs that help recovery. That's one of the main reasons athletes use them. They enhance recovery. But on top of that, where's the real stuff? It's not the active recovery. It's not the other things. It's sleep, good nutrition, having no dietary deficiencies, having lots of foods in your diet that help with anti-inflammation, right? Quality sleep. How about stress management? Stress management, anything that helps you unwind and de-stress, that lowers stress hormones. That could be music, massages, whatever it happens to be, hot baths. Anything that reduces stress, that is a benefit. These are the things you should be focused on. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.